Okay, so the first step that you need to do is to make sure you have your boards at the correct thickness, width, and height that you want your box to be. For this step, I'm using my feather board to make sure that my piece is completely against the fence of the saw. I already have my boards laid out, and I'm gonna use a combination of blue tape, this strap clamp on one of the ends, and then these corner clamps I got from Rockler, just because I have them. But honestly, just the blue tape should be plenty strong to keep this until the glue dries. So if you don't have any of this, go ahead and just use the tape. Going to be end grain to end grain, so I suggest you do a thin layer of glue first to let that soak in, then come back with the second layer so you get a better bond between the two pieces. Although we're still going to reinforce them with splines, this is a very good step to take to make sure your box is nice and strong. Passion for woodworking and you only have a one-car garage with no AC, you just can't do anything fast, or you have to do it so fast you end up doing things a little bit different than usual. But the box is done, so now it's time to work on the lid. I have an idea of what I want to do, and we'll see if it turns out to work out the way that I want it. But before moving on to the lid, I noticed that the joint is getting quite close all the way, so I just added a little bit of wood glue and rubbed it with the screwdriver, and that gave me a much better result. Okay, I lied. We're not working on the lid yet. We are going to be working on the splines, and we're using this technique I saw on TikTok. The blade just gets raised or high enough so it doesn't go all the way through the box, and then you set a stop block so you don't go farther than you need to go, and that creates pretty much the same results as a jig. Okay, so I'm still not working on the top, but the top and bottom are basically the same thing. I need to create rabbets on both top and bottom to kind of have them go in a little bit. Hopefully you don't make the same mistake as me and you don't forget to account for the width of the blade. That left here a huge gap for me. Next, what I want to do is work on the handle. I was going to get some hinges for it, but I just decided not to do that. Instead, I'm just going to do like a little handle here and have these little leftover squares from the other cuts. So I'm just going to cut them in half in a 45 and put them around this thing, glue them together and glue them to the lid, and that should look pretty good, I think. So hopefully that's the case. Yeah, let's work on that now. All right, so we have the lid already completed, and the handle, although I wish now that I had made it, you know, like for some finger holes in there, it still looks great, I think. And I think once it's all ready, it's gonna look really good. But now it's time to work on those dividers. At the bottom, I wanna cut it in half this way, the long way, cut it in half, and then one of the sides would be in half. So there will be three sections, one larger and then two smaller ones. So for the second level, I do have these little squares that are left over from my previous projects. And so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna frame this. I'm gonna cut them to length, frame it around, and that should give it a little bit more rigidity because this is pretty flimsy. I do apologize for not showing the whole process, but as I mentioned before, it's very hot in Texas and I just wanted to get it over with. But it really is all the same process for all the pieces, and I just added a little 45 angle to give it a nicer look, and that was pretty much it. And for the finish, I decided for a simple spray-on lacquer. Here's a look at the finished box, and although it didn't really turn out to be exactly what I had imagined, it still is a nice box that is functional. And in my case, I finished it exactly for the weekend, one of my friend's birthday, so it made for a nice birthday present, so I'm happy about that.